In Matthew 13, Jesus tells us many parables, but one of them is the parable of the net. And he begins by talking to us about fishermen who take in many different fishes. And we're going to dive into Matthew 13, verse 47 right now. I want to share it with you. He says, "Once again, the kingdom of heaven is like a net that was let down into the lake and caught all kinds of fish." So the kingdom of heaven is like a group of fishermen that went out and they cast down their nets and they were looking for something and they caught it and they brought the fish back up. Now, verse 48, I want you to catch this. When it was full, the fishermen pulled it up on the shore. When it was full, they pulled it up on the shore. Not before it was full, when it was full. Then they sat down and collected the good fish in baskets, but threw the bad away. They separated what was good from what was bad. This is how it will be at the end of the age. Okay, so this is how it will be at the end of times. Really, Jesus is more speaking to the end times in this parable. He was not speaking to the end times in some of the earlier parables we broke down, but in this one, he's talking about what it's going to look like in the end of days. And he's speaking metaphorically, of course. He says the kingdom of heaven is like. It's not like heaven's going to cast down a net and scoop us up like fish and then toss us to the left and to the right like animals. It's a picture. He says, this is how it will be at the end of the age. The angels will come and separate the wicked from the righteous. So the angels will come down and will separate those that have followed God and those that have chosen not to follow God. The angels will come down. You may have heard sheep and goats before. The angels will come down and they will separate those who have given their life to Christ and those who have denied Christ. And it says, and they will throw them into the blazing furnace, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. This is a metaphor referring to hell. There will be those that will go to heaven, that will spend eternity with Jesus, and there will be those who have denied Jesus and have said by their life and said in their heart, I don't want Jesus. And unfortunately, they will go to a place called hell, where there's an eternal fire, where there's weeping, where there's pain, where there's torment. And Jesus looked at the disciples and he said, have you understood all these things? Do you understand what I'm saying? And they replied yes to him. And he said, therefore, every teacher of the law who has become a disciple in the kingdom of heaven is like the owner of a house who brings out of his storeroom new treasures as well as old. When I read the parable about the net, it really gives me an awe. Sometimes we always look at the future and we think like, oh, 30, 40, or 50, whatever. I've got years. I don't need to worry about this. Or there are people in my family. I'm sure they'll come to know Christ. Or people at work. Someone will reach out to them. Or everything will be okay. And it gives me an awe. It says, hold on. We're not living this life for stuff. We're living this life for Christ. We live this life not for something temporary, but for something eternal, something that is lasting, something that is everlasting. My life's goal is not to see how wealthy I can become, not to see how much fame I have, not to see how many people have heard of me or care about me. My life's goal is to please one. That's the Lord. To hear him say, well done, good and faithful, to take his heart and to carry his heart throughout the entirety of my life. Okay, how do we take his heart and how do we carry it? We go and we make disciples. Jesus would say to Peter, I'm going to make you a fisher of men. What does that mean? Just like in the metaphor, we're called to fish for men and women, to reach out to them, to cast our net, to cast our line, to try to capture them. And it's not just us capturing them. It's the love of Christ that captures them. It's the love of Christ that compels them. And when they've been captured by the Lord and they change from the inside out, there's something about them that's different and distinct. They go from following after the devil, from following after the world, to pursuing Christ. And I believe that it's so critical that we understand our number one priority, our number one mission as believers is to lead people to Christ. Because there's going to come a time at the end of an age, whether it's in our lifetime or after our lifetime, where the angels will come down and will separate what was good and what was evil. And yes, I want to be good, and I know you want to be good too, and I know you want to follow after God. But I also want to find those who are trapped, caught up in sin, deceived by the enemy. And I want to help them escape the trap of evil and escape the lie of the devil. And I want them to have the revelation of Jesus Christ. Because I know that God can take something evil and that he can change it from the inside out. And he, just like he made me good, he can make you good and he can make others good. And I just want to encourage you today that there will come a time when your life will end or when Christ will return, and it will be the end of times. We need to live excited and anticipating this. But at the same time, we need to live in awe of the future. And we need to do everything that we can to help everyone that we can experience the love that is Christ Jesus, so that they can spend eternity with us as we spend eternity with Christ. Be blessed today.